about humanity.
And here we go again, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. I'm Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master. This is the Bullish Bitcoin channel, where twice a week I bring you bullish content around what is making and breaking the news around the UK and around the rest of the world. And every so often I bring you a live guest, and there's going to be no different tonight. So buckle up, people. This is going to be a good one. Before we get into chatting with my live guest, the preliminaries are nothing's going to change there. If you are finding this channel for the first time, do your own research. Don't come looking for financial advice, charts, price predictions, TA, Fibonacci's, whatever they are. You're not going to get them. Do your own research and only invest if it feels right for you. Very quickly, I would encourage you to follow me somewhere else. This channel has been taken down once already, and it could very well happen again. So in the show notes, you'll find a link that will take you here to my Linktree page. I would encourage you to follow me somewhere else. This is going out, just a minute. I was going to say this is going out on Rumble, but at the moment it seems like it's frozen. So maybe it isn't going out on Rumble, but it should be going out on Rumble. So
can you characterize
there you go. It is now live on Rumble. Follow me somewhere else, people, because, you know, for some reason they just seem to want to take down Bitcoiners and content creators around Bitcoin. I don't know why, but it's happened once. It could happen again. I would also encourage you to check out sponsor of the show, number one. This is the Best of Exmoor, a holiday company down in the West Country. Fabulous company. We went last year for a holiday. We're going this year. They've got around 200 cottages in Exmoor National Park. Something for everyone. If you scan the QR code, you'll see that the ratings, TripAdvisor or whatever one they use, it's always above 9.5 out of 10. So because they are a Bitcoiner, they accept Bitcoin. Chris has been down the rabbit hole as long as me. Show them a bit of love. Scan that QR code. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Just a quick shout out to the Orange Pill app. If you're not on it, why not? It's an app for Bitcoiners. Connect with Bitcoiners all around the world. There are merchants on there as well. You can have one-on-one telephone calls now within the app to somebody across the other side of the world. If you're not on it and you want to try it out, then use my link in the show notes and you're going to get 5,000 sats from OPA once you have taken any type of subscription, and that could even be a 1 month trial. Our second show sponsor by the Book Accountancy. This is Robin Thatcher. I had him on the show a couple of months back, and not only is he a solid Bitcoiner, he's also got this company to help people like you and I that are involved in cryptocurrency, particularly this show, Bitcoin only, and he's become a show sponsor, also known as Crypto Tax Help. I know he does work with Bitcoin policy, which could be relevant to today's show. So if you are in the UK... Oh, hang on. I'm being told by my lovely wife that my wife is tinny. My microphone is tinny. Get over. There you go. That should be better. So there's a lot of things going on in the UK. So it is worth getting up to date on what you need to know around taxes, particularly from January 2026. So you can actually book a free 30-minute consultation with Robin. I would encourage you to do that. Many people that are regulars on my show have reached out and had consultations with him, and they've said he's been really, really helpful. So well worth considering. And finally, before we get Susie in, this one, if you're in or near Glasgow, they've got a one-day conference up there. I said I'd promote this right up to the conference. It's coming up on Saturday, so this will be the last time. They've got an A-list of speakers. To name a few, I believe Anthony Scaramucci's going to talk. I believe British Hoddle, Alan Farrington. There's some others. They're the ones that spring to mind right now. So if you want to go to that, scan the QR code and you'll be good to go. You can find out all the information you need to find out about that. Okay, today is Thursday, the 21st of August, 2025. and I'm dead excited to bring in my guest. So, without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about this lady. Her name is Susie Violet Ward. She is the CEO and co-founder of Bitcoin Policy UK, no less. Susie's a financial analyst with a background in accounting and has a strong interest in Bitcoin and the environment. She's authored several research articles on the benefits of Bitcoin mining and its advantages for the future of renewable energy. So, without further ado, let me bring in Susie. Are you there? You must be.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for having me. I love that. A strong interest in Bitcoin. That's an understatement.
Yeah, if you're like me, you're a long-term strong hand hodler. That's what I am. Well,
just completely obsessed with it in every way, to be fair.
Well, that's what I want to find out, and I want my audience to hear, because there's so many things going on for people that find Bitcoin. Some people, I mean, I always tell this story. When I found Bitcoin, maybe I'm unique, I don't know, or maybe I was just totally stupid, but I got this phone call when we were living down in the Canary Islands. We got off to retire, and about 2 hours later, I was all over YouTube. All I could find was Andreas Antonopoulos and a couple of other wildos. But I thought, this is for me. I've got to get in. So my wife and I just jumped down the rabbit hole, jumped on local Bitcoins, bought a load of Bitcoin, and here we are 8 years later. So, the thing that I've also found is the other end of the spectrum is when people first come across it, they're skeptical. They need several touch points before they really, really get it. So I want to hear your story, but before we do that, tell my audience a little bit about you and your background. I mean, I've just given a bit of an intro. Sounds all pretty posh to me, but a little bit about your background, Susie, please.
So I actually started working at McDonald's, which I think fits the Bitcoin meme thing.
Did you really?
Yeah, of course. I was a school dropout at 15. Like the school system did not suit me at all.
Join the club. I left school at 15 too.
Yeah, you can't do that now, but you
No.
could back in the day. I mean, I was nearly 16. It was just before my 16th birthday. I just finished my GCSEs. I didn't get particularly good grades. Yeah, school wasn't for me. And so I went to work in McDonald's, and my mum and dad were obviously panicking a little bit, and they didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I couldn't be told.
Yep.
I knew that they couldn't tell me what to do because it just wouldn't work. So I did say to them, like, I promise you, leave me alone. I will find my way. I really will. And they trusted me, and I just followed what I wanted to do. And I think because for the first time I was able to make my own choices, it was much better for me rather than being dictated to through a school system, essentially.
So McDonald's, well, you clearly didn't
yes.
work there for too long, surely. So what evolved?
No.
What evolved?
But there's interestingly, in McDonald's, I did actually skip all the stars and go straight to white badge, which was management, you see. So I even...
Oh, you had something going for you then.
Yeah. But what happened was they told they had these kind of privilege cards that they had to sell for charity. They were £1 each, and the person who usually sold the cards on a Saturday was off, and I obviously was just bored and thought, well, I'm fine with not clearing out bins for a day, like give that job to me. And I ended up just dumping this big bag of money on the counter at the end of the day, and he just looked at it. It was like, what is, like, how? And I just thought, I don't know. So apparently I made more money in 5 hours than the whole store had made in 3 months.
Wow.
And so what they did was they promoted me to management and gave me an extra 20p an hour.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, good grief. So how long were you at McDonald's for then? And what happened after that?
3 months. So I think then I went to work in a shoe shop. I then double glazing. Like it was a string of horrific kind of jobs. But the thing is they were all really good because the skills that I learned from each of those jobs, it's almost like everything that I have done has led me to this point, and every skill that I have acquired has been helpful. Even the jobs that sound like they're unskilled, that I learned a lot. from those. And I started off in my more professional career as a secretary on an accounts department. And because I had essentially left school and I didn't know what I was going to do, and I really didn't have any decent qualifications at all, I was thinking, well, what do I enjoy doing? And I love finance, actually. Weirdly, I liked numbers and money, and I was always really good with budgeting. And so I decided to go and study accountancy at evening classes.
Okay.
So while I was working as a secretary in an accounts department, I was studying in the evenings. And what that meant was that I was getting work experience, not getting into debt, earning a qualification. Um, Everything about it was much better because my friends had gone off to do A levels and then they'd gone off to do university. So by the time they'd come out of uni, I had an accountancy qualification. I had 5 years worth of work experience. I bought my first flat when I was 19 because I'd obviously been earning, and I had no debt.
Wow.
And I didn't realize at the time that actually that was the best thing that could have happened to me. It was only looking back that I realized it was actually a lucky escape, that I didn't follow the path of my peers. And I think it's worked out for me so much better. But it wasn't easy because it wasn't the normal prescribed path that people usually take.
So I got to ask, how did Bitcoin come into your life, and what was your reaction compared to mine? I mean,
So, like you say, there has to be a few touch points, and there were. And I remember sending articles to my husband in 2017, and he just ignored me. And it's funny, the other day he went through his messages and he did a little search, and he saw all the times that I'd sent him an article or a note or something about Bitcoin, and he just wrote "sorry" underneath it. I took a screenshot.
oh, awesome. So is he on side?
Oh, absolutely. God, if he wasn't, there's no way. I've just done 2 conferences back to back during the summer holidays while he's been looking after 2 kids at home. That's on board.
Fair play, hubby. And I've got my lovely wife in the chat who's totally supportive as well. She's a moderator. She DCAs herself every payday. So it's fantastic, isn't it? Because we hear so many times, I do, and I'm sure you do, of people that, are pro Bitcoin. They love it. And yet they've got a spouse that is anti. And, I won't dox anyone. There's people in this chat, I've had personal conversations with that say the same thing. And it's really, really tough, when your spouse is like on the other side of it. So I feel blessed that we are both down the rabbit hole. And I guess you do as well.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I don't think I could do it. I don't know what I would do because we go for walks in the evening as well. Like, it's just a thing that we do. We just go for a little walk, and that's part of our evening chat, is just talking. It's like it's all we talk about, really. In fact, like, the kids often say, "Is there any chance you could just not talk about Bitcoin?"
Just not talk about it for once, Mum. Let's have some time out. But you don't you? It's like, once you're down that rabbit hole, the hours can just disappear. It's absolute madness. I remember many, many years ago, I was in a business, and my first wife at the time was, anti that. And funny enough, I used to meet one of my mentors, and he used to say, "Let's go out and have a pizza in Salisbury," which we did. And, then you'd spend till the wee hours chatting about this business and how exciting everything was. And, you used to get home and it was like, "Where have you been? Who have you been with? What do you talk about for all this time?" And I bring that into Bitcoin because you can talk for hours and hours and hours and hours when you've got somebody that you're in tune with and they're on the same page as you. And I don't know. For me, Susie, I feel like it, dare I say, has added another 10 years to my life in terms of passion, enthusiasm. But, we go for walks as well. But the thing that I love is Sunday mornings for us is cup of coffee in bed. And, Elaine's watching her own YouTube videos and I've got mine on. It's Bitcoin related. I say, "Oh, what are you doing then?" "Oh, I'm listening to Simply Bitcoin," or whatever it might be. It's like, get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to actually say, because sometimes I get a bit Bitcoined out.
Yeah.
And so we've got a TV in our room. I know some people would think that's really naughty, but it's like my guilty pleasure. I love falling asleep to the TV.
Each to their
And
own.
if uh, if Rob decides to put on something Bitcoin related, I can't listen to it while I'm falling asleep. I do put my foot down then, and I say, please, can we just have like QI or something that doesn't require any kind of thought? Because I have a threshold, and
Yeah, no, I get
I'm
that.
obsessed.
So tell me, how did you hear about Bitcoin? How did that come about? For me, it was a phone call. What about you?
I can't really remember, because there were quite a few touch points, but the time that it really, really stuck in my mind was when my colleague had bought some and my boss took the mickey out of them on a team call in my
Oh,
old fiat job.
yeah.
Talking of fiat jobs, I didn't actually finish explaining like my path. I just got stuck on accounts assistant, but basically, my old fiat job, where I used to be a systems accountant.
Yeah.
So that was the path. It was accountancy, IT, systems accountant, financial analyst, and then a Cognos developer. So that all led me to Bitcoin. But in my
Wow.
fiat job, yeah, my boss took the mickey out of my colleague for buying some, and I thought that's interesting. Why is he being so dismissive? And
Mm.
because generally, when everyone's heading in one direction, I do head in the other.
Yeah.
I think that was what really made me think about it.
And then you started digging in and doing some research.
No, I didn't. I didn't really think about it at all. It was just the first time
Oh,
that it
that was the
really
first touch
stayed in
point. So
there.
it came in and went out of your head, and you got on with life.
It stuck more than the others, is my point. But I just didn't act on it.
Right. Okay. So
And then
when
there were
did you?
just a few. Um, I think somebody else mentioned it at work, and then once it had been mentioned a couple of times, I think then I read an article, and then the rest. Yeah, it was such a slow process. It's really difficult to know when it actually happened.
Mm. Yet for me, it's totally vivid. We were lying around a swimming pool. We were. We had our own swimming pool, and all of a sudden, my computer was near our casa was very close to the swimming pool, about 15 yards, and I had it open, and I heard Skype going, and I said to Elaine, "Who the heck's Skyping me?" Of course, I raced back in to see who it was, and it was an old colleague of mine from Stoke-on-Trent, and he literally for an hour and three quarters just waxed lyrical, and he said, "You've got to look at this." And of course, Elaine being an analyst, and analysts always ask why. They never take it at face value. They want to know why. So, of course, the question was, well, what's in it for you? Why should we look at it, and what are you going to get out of it? And I'll never forget, he turned around and he said, "I get nothing out of this but the satisfaction of knowing that if you do go down the rabbit hole and you do stack Bitcoin, you'll be 1 in 100 and the other 99 laughed at me." He said, "That's a satisfaction." He said, "Oh, and by the way," he said, "when you're a millionaire, you can buy me a Rolex." I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. So, we just jumped in. And ever since, I've been learning. I probably watch, I got to be realistic, an hour and a half to 2 hours of YouTube videos morning, and the same before bed. And I've got, the group that I follow, they're like the Preston Pish, and, anything to do with Simply Bitcoin. And if Larry Lepard's talking anywhere, or James Lavish, or any of those people, I'm all over it, and I'm listening and I'm studying. So I'm so deep down the rabbit hole, I don't seem to ever get maxed out. And, I don't know, Elaine does. She says sometimes, "Let's just watch a movie or something." Okay. And where's your mind going when the movie's on? We won't go there. So so you got into Bitcoin, and I want to know how Bitcoin policy came about. I guess, was it your brainchild? Was it you and Freddie knew each other and you were chatting away? How did that come? No. Okay.
No. So it was actually born from the Edinburgh conference.
Were you at the Edinburgh conference?
Yes.
So were we.
Yeah.
Well, flipping out. I did not know that. So tell me, I'm interested now.
So I think discussions were had from the Edinburgh conference, and Jordan wanted to set something up, but I don't
Yep.
think he had the capacity to. So he formed a group of people who he thought might be interested.
Yep.
I wasn't part of that at that point, and it just happened that I had recently written an article about central bank digital currencies, and because from City AM, so it was part of a mainstream paper, and because I was able to get that published, I was really cheeky and I said, would you now publish something on mining? And he
Okay.
said, okay, send it over. And he did, and it was an article how Bitcoin could help save the environment. And so it explained about Bitcoin, it explained about mining, how it can mitigate methane and the ESG potential of it. And that got published, which amazed me. I couldn't believe that that they would actually publish it in a mainstream kind of newspaper like City AM.
Yep.
And then Freddie obviously read the article and reached out, and they were looking for a head for their mining pillar within the organization. And so he obviously realized that I knew a little bit about mining and asked me if I would head up that subcommittee.
Well, and it's certainly growing, isn't it? And I'm aware of Bitcoin Policy Institute in the US, and to have something here in the UK where you've got people lobbying government, because I guess for me, I'm really frustrated that we're so far behind the curve in the UK, and the laws and the regulations are pushing millionaires overseas, and we love our home country but can't stand the way the country's going in terms of the government coming out and saying something to the tune of, it's not for us, it's not right for us right now. And I'm thinking,
yeah, that was Emma Reynolds, wasn't it? It's not for us. I mean, how can you say that?
I know, and I'm frustrated because you cannot tell me that there aren't really clever people in government, that it just seems like they're too lazy to do the proof of work. There's no one there that is going to do the proof of work that's got any influence to touch others to get this ball rolling.
Do you know what? No, I think it's deeper than that. I think that they have fallen victim to the poor, the misinformation that we have in our press. Yeah. And so because, like I said, my background, accountancy, finance, systems accountant, and then a developer for a planning system. And then I learned about Cognos, about Bitcoin.
Yep.
So that journalists today, they are journalists, they're writers, and that's fine. But they don't have the background that is needed to understand such a wide and complex subject. So when they write about it, it's not usually well researched or well understood pieces that go out there. It's lazy, and a lot of the articles, they have to be clickbaity, and there isn't money in journalism, and so the information that gets published is poor. And the three main narratives that politicians still believe today, despite all the evidence against it, is that it's a Ponzi scheme, it's bad for the environment, and it's used for criminals. So they still believe that to be the case. And how do you undo that? It's really, really difficult, because they're still not writing about it in a factual way.
So how much of this can also be attributed to the thought processes of Satsmo Joe, Joe Bryan, on his video that shows how the press and the media is, how do I say, I don't want to use the wrong words, but there's like a cycle, isn't there? And one feeds the other, the money printer, and then the media get bought and they're told. I mean, I remember several years ago listening to Max Kaiser, and he was saying that he worked for the BBC, him and Stacey, in the UK, and he said, they put together this program, and like the what do you call them, the people that run it, they said, no, you can't say that, and you can't say that, no, you need to change that, and no, that's not right, no, we can't go with that line. And they said, what the hell do you want us to talk about then? You asked us to put a program together, and we can't say this and we can't say that. So is it an element of journalism being lazy? And is there also an element in there, do you think, of the media only putting out what somebody that's pulling strings wants them to put out? I don't know. Is that
It
conspiratorial?
feels like that. I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it? It's difficult to know. The waters have definitely been muddied.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you followed that the BBC wrote an article that I tried to get retracted. It was every Bitcoin payment uses a swimming pool's worth of water.
Well, I did see that article.
So I knew that everything that had been written in that article wasn't correct. And so I tried to get it either amended or retracted.
Yeah.
And I followed several excruciating processes for 13 months, trying to get them to, and I proved that it was wrong.
Yeah.
I proved that their source had been discredited in 2018. They couldn't tell me how they fact checked it, and they didn't disclose the conflict of interest, which was that the source was actually a Dutch central banker. So after 13 months of being sent in, and it was an absolute time sink. It really was. They sent me down ridiculous, fill out this form, do this. At one point, they even had me posting documents.
What?
I had to post them documents because they didn't have a system that allowed me to send them more than something crazy like 2,000 characters.
That's ridiculous. In 2020, 2025, whatever it is. It's bizarre.
The whole process was unbelievable. And in the end, they just said no. And that was 13 months of going back, trying again, rebutting what they said, telling them, providing evidence. I even got the Digital Asset Research Institute to actually write a scientific rebuttal, and they still ignored it.
I know, it's crazy. I was listening to Jordan Walker. I think he said he's written to the government or whoever it is, House of Lords, whoever it is, I don't know, several times, and they've come back and said not interested. I remember Robin Thatcher saying that they've tried as well. It's like, how do we beat this? And how far behind the curve are we going to be if we don't catch up? Because, we are supposedly Great Britain, but at the moment we're certainly not Great Britain, and everything they're doing. Listen, I'm a regular guy, and I can see that if you go and drive the wealthy from our shores, you're going to kill innovation, you're going to kill business, you're going to kill jobs, you're going to kill the economy, the GDP is going to fall flat on its face. It's like, why can't they see this? Why can't, I don't know, maybe, Trump's out there. He's right out there, isn't he? And, I just think maybe the one shot that we've got is Farage. I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, their recent crypto policy was not bad.
What you mean, Farage's?
Yeah. So he announced it at
in
so we're
America.
obviously apolitical. So we don't affiliate with anybody, and if anybody wants our help, we will help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we are actually in discussions at the moment with Reform to help them refine their policy. We've offered our help, and we're engaging with them, and they know that we're on hand if they need anything. So that's good. But we are actually going to the Labour Party conference, and we've got a stand there, which I think, after dealing with them, I wonder if it was a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, I did say that. I did say that. I saw that on the website, actually. Where's your website? Let's bring your website up. Hold on, widget scene. Yeah. Where did I see that? Was it Our Work?
Yeah, it could be under we wrote about it under our blog as well. And there's another interesting thing. If you go to our blog.
Okay, hang on. Where are we? Where's the blog? Is it about?
Go to Our Work.
Yeah. A blog.
And then blog.
Got yeah.
And then we can discuss the app that's there. But if you keep going down, because that's a really good way that you can.
I mean, look at this, people. This is pretty damn impressive.
Bitcoin policy. Go up a little bit. Bitcoin policy Labour Party conference. There you go.
Yeah. Wow.
So if you just click on that, it'll tell you.
Oh yeah. It's worth having a look around at this website, people. It really is. It's pretty damn impressive for something that's just born out of the Edinburgh conference, I have to say. So
not just that, we've been going for, I think, 2 years and 8 months, and everybody's a volunteer. We have no funding, or
Yeah.
very, very little funding. We just about keep the lights on.
Look, guys, have a look at some of the people that are in this team. Daniel
They're
Prince,
phenomenal.
Dead Impressed Prince is involved doing his bit. I think Jordan's there. Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, Rachel Gay is there. Crikey.
Yeah.
This is pretty damn impressive, isn't it? So let's come back to us for a moment. What can people do to help get behind? I mean, we've all sent off, I don't know if people in the chat have done that, but I think there's a isn't there an app out there where you can send a letter to your MP? Who did it? Was it Freddie? Somebody did it.
No, Freddie wrote the letters,
Yeah.
but the app was actually designed by a chap called Sammy, and he has done such a phenomenal job. He's basically created well, there's a whole team behind us. It's never just one person. Like,
Yeah.
we wouldn't operate. There are so many people behind the scenes that make all of this happen.
Yeah.
And I feel so incredibly proud to be a part of that team and working with them, because I don't think I've ever worked anywhere where people do it because they believe in what they're doing and a sense of purpose.
Yeah, it's a means to an end, isn't it? It's a salary. It's to pay the mortgage half the time. Most people hate what they do. They tell everybody they love what they do. And I said, well, go and do it for free then. No, I'm not doing it for free. They don't love what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people do. They love it because they know that they're driving change, that they're making a difference, and they're doing it for something that's really very important. So, you know, the team behind the website, the work, they're incredible. I just feel so proud to work with all of them. But what I would say is, if you want to do something to help, this app makes it possible to contact your MP on 4 different subjects in a couple of clicks.
Yep.
It could not be easier. So go to the app, and you can choose what you want to discuss. It's either tax treatment, CBDCs, Bitcoin strategic reserve, and the FCA classification. So trying to get them to understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, which is a really important
They just don't,
part
do
of
they?
this entire process.
They just don't. And I just wonder when they will get it. Let's talk CBDCs and mining. So CBDCs, they're being rolled out, aren't they? They are being rolled out globally under the guise of different names, from what I can gather. And
it depends how you look at it. Yeah.
Go on, your view.
So they've said in the UK that they're not going to implement a CBDC. It was the House of Lords that said that it was a solution in search of a problem, which was a brilliant way of putting it. But regardless of that, the Bank of England went ahead with the consultation, and I think they even tried to hire for it. But now they've come out and said, no, we're not going to do that. And everyone was really quite pleased when they heard that. However, my opinion is that they're still going to issue a stable coin. The door is wide open for a stable coin, and stable coins are just CBDCs via the back door anyway. So even though people have celebrated that, they've said that they're not going to implement one, I just think they'll do it in a different way.
I just think people are just not, I don't know what it is. The masses, I call them sheeple. They just walk through life thinking the government are going to take care of them. And the trouble is, I'm old enough to know that for the last 40 or 50 years, we've lived in this world of abundance. We've lived in this world where it has always been this way, and people can't ever believe that it could go in a direction that's really not a nice place to go. And for me, CBDCs, they worry me senseless, because they literally are. I look at what's going on in China, and I watch any YouTube videos I can. I saw a young girl screaming in China because she couldn't get baby food for her baby because they'd scanned her retina to go in the shop and it blocked her from going in. And I don't know whether she posted on social media something or she'd done something and it just blocked her. And it's like, I saw another video, and I don't know if it was Joe. I don't know if it was Joe Nakamoto did it, but there was a video out there where a young kid, he'd come out of a factory, he'd gone to get into his car, pressed his button, and the weird noise goes off as he unlocked it, and then it locked itself again, and then his phone went off, and he looked at it, and it said something like, "You've used your carbon credits for this month, so you can't use your car anymore this month." And it's all these things that people are just they're just they don't think is coming. They think, nah, that won't happen here. This is England. And I'm afraid it's like this creep. It is a creep. It's slowly boiling the frog. And people aren't realizing it. And yet that's the masses, to be honest. And I thank God that we woke up, and at least started. It was Bitcoin that made us go down the rabbit hole of looking at everything else, And it's like, it's frightening, absolutely frightening.
Yeah. Bitcoin changes you.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And there's not just one rabbit hole, is there? There are warrens going off in every single direction, whether it's health, whether it's CBDCs, it doesn't matter what it is. Once you go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, you get pulled in all sorts of different directions. Well, I really hope that we don't have CBDCs. Like you say, I think they'll bring something in via the back door. Let's switch. Mining. This is, from what I can gather, your passion, Bitcoin mining. How do I say this? I am so up to date with all of, methane gas being vented into the air and stranded energy, wasted energy that you can mop up cheaply and help the grid and everything else. But I can't convey that because I left school at 15 with not much up top. So you tell the audience why that's where your bag is and why you're passionate about Bitcoin mining and educating people.
So we need to get mining in the UK. The use cases are numerous.
Yep.
So reusing waste heat, or the heat that comes off a miner, has lots of different use cases. It was only at Helsinki last week or earlier this week. God, I have no idea.
You've lost track of time. It was Honey Badger.
I really
before
have.
that. Baltic Honey Badger, wasn't it?
I don't know when I came back. There was this guy who was a butcher in Helsinki, and he hadn't had any really had any dealings with Bitcoin at all. And then somebody approached him just before the conference, about 3 weeks before, and then he's drying Bitcoin using a Bitcoin miner and making beef bits. And
What?
it's like this great big drying thing where he's got a Bitcoin miner with a computer on the top and then a pipe that pipes into the back of this thing, and he's drying his beef.
Oh, I see. Oh my Lord. I've seen people using it for swimming pools and heating their lounges, garages, and all sorts. But it makes, to me, Susie, it makes so much sense with the amount of energy that is wasted. It's not portable. You can't take it anywhere. People don't understand, and it's Bitcoin that's taught me this, and that is that when you come home from work and you want to turn your kettle on to have a cup of tea, or you're doing your cooking your family's food, the grid is going ballistic, and they've got to run the grid like that most of the time. So in those quiet periods, all that energy is going to absolute waste. Plug a Bitcoin miner in, and wow, everyone wins.
It's a no-brainer. And the thing is, they have to build the grid out for that max capacity as well.
Yeah.
So they have to build it out for, say, peak time on Christmas Day almost.
Yeah.
So when you see those wind turbines not moving, I thought, oh, they're broken. Another one's broken. But no, they're switched off, because if the wind's really blowing and they've got no need for that electricity, they can't overwhelm the grid.
Yeah.
So they pay the wind farms to switch off, and that costs money. That's called curtailment.
Yeah.
We pay £1 billion a year in curtailment costs. So we pay the wind farms, and that's making our energy bills higher. So we've got the highest energy prices in the world anyway.
Yep.
And on top of that, we're paying £1 billion in curtailment fees, which we do not have to. There are brilliant examples in Texas of how Bitcoin mining is being used for demand response and flexible load. It's instant as well.
Yeah.
So not only would you get the additional revenue stream from the Bitcoin, but you would also save on the curtailment costs. In the future, when they finally understand what Bitcoin is, hash rate is going to be very important.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we only have something really crazy like 0.23% of the hash rate. America's got 40%. And the reason why that's important is because hypothetically, you can censor transactions when you have a large portion of the hash rate.
Yep.
And Marathon have proven that censoring OFAC transactions, they actually, I mean, I know that there'll always be someone who can take it. So, you know, there'll always be a way around it. But hash power in the future is going to be a strategic thing. It's going to be important. And we need it in the UK. And there are so many use cases for it. Like in Holland, they grow tulips and peppers from the waste heap.
They heat the greenhouses, don't they?
Exactly. That's right. And we could absolutely do that, because what you put in energy wise is what you get out heat wise. So 1 kilowatt in is 1 kilowatt out. If you're not mining Bitcoin in the middle, it's a dumb heater.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you should be. You're missing a trick. And so these are the kinds of educational pieces that we have to get across to the government, because they are, you said at the beginning, they're driving out innovation, they're driving out business, and we have solutions. We just have to help them understand why it's important. But the problem is, if you don't see Bitcoin as being important, then you're not going to see the rest of it.
No, you're definitely not. I was watching a video yesterday. It was a negative video on, I think it might be Mara, that built a huge plant next to that housing estate. Did you see the video?
No.
Joe Nakamoto, he's not Joe Hall. He was running the video and going through and pulling bits of it apart, you know, as he went through this video that had been launched. But then he did say that
was it a while ago, and that they'd actually put filters over the top to make it worse. Is that the one?
I don't know. There was this YouTuber who's got 1.2 million followers, and he went out to this place. I think it was out in Texas, I believe, but it is near houses, and they did have the meter out, and Joe did say that's extremely high. You know, why have Mara built it that close to the houses? But that said, you know, there was he was picking it to bits basically. But you know, I don't respect Mara too much at all, if I'm totally honest. But that's just another story. So that, you know, what they're doing is maybe giving, you know, Bitcoin mining a bad name, because one negative video, if that goes viral, you know, everybody think, like you said, it's so difficult to get people past, you know, Bitcoin's boiling the oceans, you know, Bitcoin's going to use all the world's energy by 2020, you know, back in 2016, and all those narratives that are now long gone. But of course, the masses, I had Preston Pish on my show a couple of years back, and he said something really profound. And he said, trouble is, Brian, he said, the masses, he said, it is an inconvenience to learn about Bitcoin because it interrupts their TV time. And it's true. The masses just want to go to work, get the McDonald's, no pun intended, get the McDonald's and literally just watch Netflix, you know. So how do you get somebody to understand the power of Bitcoin mining if, like you said, rightly so, they don't have any interest in Bitcoin, or the message has been skewed as it comes out of the media?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? It's very tricky.
So
you have to find what gets them, don't you? You have to find, because Bitcoin is everything.
Yeah.
It's human rights. It's a technology. It's a money. It's an economy. It's number go up. It's a methane mitigator. It's a grid balancer.
It's a community builder.
It's a I mean, it's endless. So I always think, what is it that person is interested in? And then I try and find a way. But that's on an individual basis, you know.
That's not easy.
The government, you've got to show them it makes business sense, and we can easily do that, because Nick Bowick, our Chief Mining Officer at Bitcoin Policy UK, wrote a fantastic paper on demand response and flexible load, and we sent it to the Future Energy Scenario Department at the National Grid. We've got a paper telling them the benefits and why. Nothing.
Really?
They can save money, but the problem is the incentives are wrong. It always comes back to bad incentives, doesn't it? So why would a wind farm implement something if they're getting paid anyway? They're just not going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hate to say it, but the whole system is corrupt. The whole system around the everything's corrupt. Everything is driven by donations, and you do this and I'll donate that, and it's just I don't think
it's not democracy, is it?
Sorry?
It doesn't feel like a democracy.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's just so much corruption. And I think and the trouble is we Bitcoiners, we think we're in this tiny echo chamber. We talk to other Bitcoiners. People come on my show that are Bitcoiners. What we want is we want more and more people outside to start hearing the message. So how are you guys at BP UK doing your bit to break into this? Is it just keep at it, keep writing papers, keep trying to take meetings?
Exactly that. Yeah. So we Freddie and I went and spoke to I can't say their name, somebody who had all of these preconceived ideas about it, like you say, boiling the oceans, being a Ponzi scheme, and bad for criminals, all of that. And then at the end of the hour, after explaining everything from energy to money to business, commercial properties, how it can help energy efficiency, all of that malarkey, he was blown away. But the problem is that's one-on-one, and you can't really do it like that. So that's why we created this way of people contacting their MPs, because it forces them to start seeing it. Like you said at the beginning, we need lots of touch points. So when it comes to the touch points, we wrote a Bitcoin manifesto and sent it to all 650 MPs. So they can't say that they haven't received it. We did
whether they've read it or not.
It's still a touch point. It still went in their inbox. It could still just be that one, just the word and it popping up. Like that's all you need. But they can't say that they haven't been told. But it is just a case of just keeping at it. We go to crypto and Bitcoin APPGs, that's all party parliamentary groups. We reach out to MPs when we can. Get consultation responses, emails, every which way that we can help them.
It's thankless, isn't it? And if you don't love it, if you don't want to benefit humanity, you're not going to do it for the love of it, are you?
No, well, it's unpaid. We still have, because if we were Crypto UK or Stand With Crypto, we could get sponsored by Ripple, Circle, all the kind of shit coins. Hell, like absolutely, it would be super easy. But we're Bitcoin only, and we know that Bitcoin businesses struggle in the UK. We know that poor regulation has driven them out, so the companies that would have helped us are not here, and the ones that are here are struggling. So who's going to help us?
I know. What a thankless task.
Mm-hmm.
Let's switch gears. As good grief, we're 10 to 7 already. That's crazy. I wanted to yes. I wanted to ask. Here we go again. When you're talking Bitcoin, you could just go on and on and on. I wanted to ask your views on this confiscated Bitcoin that the government are holding. Do you think that's going to be sold?
Of course it will get sold. It has to be, because unless they change the law. No, the thing is that unless they change the law and the process.
What Freddie said, it's some kind of sequence where it has to be sold or something. He was saying on the show.
Exactly that. So unless that law changes, it's from the proceeds of Crime Act. It will have to get sold. The thing is, though, we don't even really know if it's ours or not, because fortunately we know who's holding it. It's it's a custodian called Kamenu. I think that's how you pronounce it. Right. They have the keys. It's actually gone up for tender, so the government have actually asked for a new custody solution, and all of the providers are going to pitch for it.
Right.
So that Bitcoin might move at the end of the year, but that doesn't mean that it's moved to being sold. It might just move to another custodian. It's was it from Chinese criminals, and then it got taken from Coinbase. The Chinese want it back, and the criminals need to get made whole. So even once not the criminals, sorry, the victims need to get made whole. So once they get made whole, the remainder is going to get contested by the Chinese government. So all of that has to get sorted out before they even consider it. So in that time frame, we might stand a chance.
It's going to be another Germany, isn't it? It's going to be another Germany.
But they had no choice.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I can't. I mean, when you see we're number 3 in the world in terms of our Bitcoin holdings, well, there's a great footing.
That hasn't changed. Because I thought Lola from The Rage actually found out that they only had 28,000 Bitcoin, the US government. So actually, technically, I think we're second, because I don't think the US have as much as they say they have.
The pods I was watching saying that it looks like they got 175,000, not 100 or not 200,000.
I thought it was considerably less than that.
Okay. Well, listen, unless you can corroborate it, no one knows, do we? There's no definitive. No. But I guess my point is, if this is going to be the future, and we know it is, unless something catastrophic happens, I can't see a world. I won't be here, but I can't see a world where Bitcoin won't be, the money of the world. It won't be the base layer of, and I always say it is seeping into every orifice of humanity, finance, property, absolutely everything. And it's coming, isn't it? And to then look back in hindsight and say, we had 61,000 Bitcoin and we sold them. Yes, they have to, but somebody's got to try and help them because Freddie said, it's only a change to some wording on a document. That's all it takes.
Exactly. Yeah, but they've got to do it, though. That's the problem. And they've got to understand why it's important, and they've actually got to do it. They've got to do it before everything has been settled.
Dear, oh dear. Well, it is what it is. I don't care about government. I care about governments because they then dictate how I live and run my life. I don't care if governments have no Bitcoin. I just want more and more regular people to get Bitcoin. But right now, the trouble is 100, and I don't know what we are, about 113 before we went live. Retail just not here, is it? Retail is just not here. This is institutions. And, if there's one message I'd get over to anybody watching this, that is all this volatility, all this up, down, like a fiddler's elbow, sideways, is designed to drive you so nuts. You say, I've had enough. I'm out. I'm selling. And then BlackRock and others are going to go, thank you very much. I'll have that cheap Bitcoin. If you know where this is going, you just hang on and you stack and you keep stacking. It's just, I'd rather have more plebs than governments, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if every single millionaire on the planet wants to buy one Bitcoin, they couldn't.
No.
That's quite a crazy thought if you think about it, because I think this is going to be one of the biggest wealth transfers that we've ever seen. And
I think it's already happened.
Well, it is, yeah. I'm not a fan of the institutions buying it all.
No,
really,
I'm not.
Obviously, it's a free market, and I can't say what people should do. But the way that ETFs are stacking, the way public companies are stacking, corporates, and then nation states will pile in. Do you know what? It's
well, when you look at the supply demand dynamic, when you look at how many coins are being minted per day at the moment, and how many coins are being bought up by everything you just said,
absolutely,
this cannot go on where there isn't some kind of supply shock and an upwards momentum rapidly.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need the brains of a rocket scientist to know that if you got one pizza and all of a sudden you haven't got 10 people wanting a bit, you've got 50, and they slice the pizza 50 ways, you're going to get less and less and less of your cut. And I try to get over to people that, if you own pounds or dollars, you own a melting ice cube that they can keep printing to infinity. If you own half a Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 0.2 of a Bitcoin, 5 Bitcoin, whatever it is, that is your chunk of the money for the world that is never going to be inflated. And all you got to do is cling on to it for dear life and don't let go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I nailed it. I couldn't put it any better.
Well, Susie, we're at 5 to the hour. I just want to say thank you for coming on. It's like you could just talk and you could just talk and you just talk. Before we pull it together, is there anything from your perspective with what you're doing that you want to get out there?
I would just encourage people to go and look at the app and see what matters to them and send a letter to their local MP.
And people think that doesn't work. But of course, I'm listening to the Americans, Dennis Porter, etc. He's been on my show as well. He's done such good out in America. And, they're all saying you think that writing to your politician is going to fall on deaf ears. But here's a thought for people, and quote me if I'm right or wrong here. I believe there's about 7 million people in the UK hold some form of crypto. That is a monstrous voter base.
Yep.
And maybe that's an angle for governments. Maybe that's an angle because Trump won it on getting in with the Bitcoiners at the conference, and the Garling House is donating all these millions firstly to Kamala Harris, and then let's get behind Trump. I loved it at the White House when he was shoved over in the corner. I thought that was superb.
That was
best place
we
for
all
him.
loved it.
But the point is, look how Trump had a landslide off the back of Bitcoiners, etc. And I think if we could just find a spark of someone in the UK that could see the same. And I think Farage has seen that. I remember him at Bitcoin at one of the Miami conferences a few years ago, and he sat on the panel outside the Bitcoin magazine panel, and he was doing a bit of crap coining as well, talking about, it's not just Bitcoin, but, maybe now he's seeing that there is a route for him in 2028 to get into number 10 with Bitcoiners voting for him. And I think that could be a big driver, couldn't it?
Right. These are exactly the conversations that we're having. I'm having these conversations with his team. They're aware of the voter base, and they I think they know what they've got to do.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. If Bitcoin is truly for everyone, anybody that is up in arms that governments and institutions are buying, you don't know what you're involved in, because, like you say, Bitcoin is for your enemies as well. So if you think Bitcoin was going to get to 100,000 and 1 million without institutions coming, you're living in cloud cuckoo land. Or it would happen, but it'd be 100 years out. It would the adoption would be so slow with retail. You'd still get these blow off manias every 4 years, and then it fall down the other side. I tell you what, one thing before we end this, Susie, I was looking around on my Bitbo app today, and it was really interesting. I played around with the distance of what what you're looking at, and I think we bottomed in 2023. I believe it was early 2023 at 16,000, and we're about 2.5 years in. And if you look at that as a log chart, it's been a steady 30% up and to the right. But when you zoom in, it's volatile like the clappers. But if that continues, you'd be another 2 or 3 years out, and we'd be up around 800,000 or 900,000. So, I rather like the slow and steady and no massive pullbacks. There's this debate about, are we, is the super cycle coming? Are we going to just continue to go up and continue to go up? I'm rather hoping that we go up and we crab sideways, we settle, we go up again, and we don't get these crazy drawdowns, because they're hard to swallow when you look at your net worth get cut in, 4/5 of what it was worth just by hodling and being a strong hand. And, you see it
It's
go
not
down,
easy, is it?
and you've got to wait another 4 years for it to come back up again.
Yeah. And that's why I don't tell people to buy Bitcoin. Like, I would only ever tell people to study it, because once you really understand what you're holding, you can stomach it. You don't like it, but you can stomach the
Yeah, you can.
volatility.
Yeah, you
If
can.
you don't understand what you're holding, you would shit the bed, wouldn't you? Like panic
Do you know,
sell and just
do you know
fix
something?
it.
You know, when you're holding, like we've been holding for over 8 years, and when you say hodling's hard, hodling for us has been easy. What's been hard is all that coming at you when the price is tanked again, and the text messages saying, "Oh, see, old Bitty's down then."
Oh,
And
yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
I
the
told my
bit
mum
that's
to buy
hard.
£100. It's awful. I told my mum to buy £100, and all I hear about is it hasn't gone up as much as I thought. Oh, it's gone down. Mum, it was 100 quid. It was 100 quid. Just forget about it. But the amount I've heard, I just wish I'd never said anything. Yeah, I'm with you.
It is what it is. Susie, it's been an absolute pleasure. All your links are in the show notes already. Bitcoin Policy's website, Decentrasue's and Bitcoin Policy's links. So people, you need to go follow Susie and have a look at the website and do your bit. Send off your letter to your MP, because if enough of us do this, I think I saw somewhere it said about if 20% of a population there's an uprising, you can change everything. I think the percentage might even be less than that. So we should all be doing our little bit. Susie, I'm going to let you go and finish off with my guys. But listen, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you for coming on. Anything you want to leave the audience with before I let you go?
No, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to talk about the app.
Oh, it's been brilliant. It really has. It's been great having you on. Just sign out the green room. I'm going to just wind down with my audience. Susie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, guys, what about that one? Don't you think that was superb? What a lovely lady as well. I didn't know what to expect from Suze. I've never connected with her before apart from a few tweets, but I can see you all in the chat. Phil C, great to have you in there, dude. Thank you for joining us. The regulars are in. Elaine, Mrs. UK, Yorkie Bitcoiner, John G's in the house. Have we got any of the Americans? I don't know if we have. Minimalized Man is in the house. Look, you know who you all are. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go back over to the desktop very, very quickly because, whoops, if it doesn't let me down, this Saturday, for those of you that are in the 21 Million Club, it is a paid group where once a month we meet on Zoom and we get to know each other and we chew the fat and we have a laugh, especially if Johnny Midas is in the chat, and it's brilliant. So those of you that are in the 21 Million Club, the email has gone out. There'll be a reminder goes out on Saturday at 4 p.m. as always. So for those of you that are going to join us on Saturday, I can't wait for you to join us. For those that are not, thank you for joining us on this one. Please retweet this out. Please go and follow Susie and also follow Freddie New. They're both from Bitcoin Policy UK. Tweet this out, share it where you're watching, where you're listening. This has gone out on Rumble. I can see Stacking Richie in the Rumble chat. Not many more other people, so Rumble's a bit slow getting off the ground. But I'm done. I wish each and every one of you a great morning, afternoon, evening, weekend, whatever you're doing. I'll be back on Monday, 6 p.m. with a regular show. Come and join me then. Until then, as always, I'm going to sign out with Chelsea Baz's awesome song about how the money is broken. Catch you all on Monday.